Hi everyone, Graham here, POC Gamer, and it is time for more unusual mapping for your campaign. This is part 6 of a map creation series that I've been doing here live here on YouTube. This is approximately 5 hours worth of work that's gone into this map so far, and the goal behind it is to create a map that's useful at the tabletop and useful at the on a virtual tabletop that is focused on locations and events as opposed to being focused on like providing perfect topography and fidelity to the ground. So this has been really great. Thank you for joining me again, and please don't forget to like and subscribe and support me because that makes all this stuff happen. So where we left off last week, well, 2 weeks ago, because last week was had a lot of stuff going on. So we over the first few weeks we built the basic world. We've dropped all sorts of land features onto it. Last week we were putting out trails. We got a little Viking fort going on up here. We're dipping into the stamps and all that sort of stuff. Oh, that's right. So this is all happening using Incarnate, and I'm using just resources available on Incarnate with the pro account. I'm not adding any extra stuff into this. So yeah, it was a really great week. Last few weeks were really good. See, you got like what 1,732 items. So that's like all these like individual stamps are all items that we've put on here, and things are looking good. So yeah, now we're going to do just a little bit of tidying, and then we are going to move into um, what's called maybe some labeling today. And since this is all happening live and everyone's watching it all go down, we may try sectioning off the map today to try to work on an individual space. So we'll see how this all goes. So you know what? We're going to try to section it. So I've never done that before, and I think it's going to be interesting. So new map from region. Do I want to do that right away, or should I do the coastlines? Yeah, let's kick off. Let's do this. So we're going to start with our desert region here. So this is the nice part about having a grid to work with is you can do stuff like this. Confirm. All objects outside the selected region. That makes sense. All right, let's do this. Truth be told, I'm still workshopping names for this project because I ran some of the ones that I had by my partner there, who was a librarian, and she looked at them, then looked at me, and she said, "Why are you showing me this extruded fantasy product?" And I was like, "Oh, so I've got to be more creative." So if you're happy with the result, please save your map now. And save your map a new. Okay. Wow, that is nice. That's really nice. I'm very happy with this. This is cool. So I was wondering how resectioning would work, and this has created a beautiful little section of map. Hey, how's it going? Um, am going to hit back. I'm not going to save this one. I am going to hit back. Yeah, leave page because I just realized that yeah, names can be hard. Names are hard. Between finding out that you're naming something after something that actually really exists in the real world, or just creating like the most horrible generic fantasy sounding name. Yeah. Okay, so just a quick lesson learned we had from that is yeah. So broadly speaking, I have this nice like little delineated area that's desert, jungle, all that sort of stuff. I think in order to get the best fidelity and the best usable map out of sectioning it, I'm going to have to pop up and out a little bit. So it's going to expand to show a little bit of the areas around it, but it'll also create a more natural looking map. So, new map from region. So I'm going to grab onto right here. Oh, cancel. Need to go higher. Okay, so we're going to start from up here. Check it out. There we go. We'll start 2 over, so hit the edge of it there, go 2 over. There we go. Yes. That looks better. That looks way better. That's fair. That's fair. That is a solid approach to naming conventions. All right. So this is a little better. Um, we can still shrink this down more if we want to. Like I could resize this map, but I like broadly speaking how this is worked out. Because one of the things that always irritated me around maps in fantasy stuff is that they tend to be. So I'm going to save this as a desert section. Desert region demo map. There we go. Super creative naming. So, like I said, one of the things that has irritated me in the past about fantasy maps when they get sectioned off is when they're sectioned too closely, and so you don't get a sense of the context of the world around that region. And so, by cutting this map this way, giving it these 2 squares, you can see there's this wasteland above it. We've got the plains area here with its little towers and forts, and the jungle area down here. So, it gives a sense of connectivity to the larger world. So, I like that. Text Oh, that's expanded since the last time I played in here. Caesar dressing. Very nice. A lot of fancy handwriting. I'm going to stick with Quattrocento for this. It's been pretty reliable over the years. Yeah, exactly. When things just border a specific area, I find that it tends to really, yeah, it makes the world feel small. All right. So, wait a minute. Sing. Okay, yeah, there's still objects. Okay. Now the real fun. Placing names. Okay, so that outline shadow. Yes. Well, that's nice opacity options. And let's move that down a layer. Okay, there. Yeah, shadow the text is phenomenal. So this bending effect, when you're working in GS stuff, is called splining. And unfortunately, we're sort of limited in how much splining we can do in here because traditional splining actually lets you like follow strange features. So if you have like a weird looking river or contour line or something like that, or road, splining will normally follow along with it. But here it's sort of we're more limited. It's just giving us a curving option. All right, no, turn off blur. I'm going to increase the size though. Two. Super creatively named Great Sandy Trail. And so one of the idiosyncrasies of Incarnate is once you create a piece of text, that's what gets added almost everywhere. That's what your next stamp's going to look like as well. Sometimes it helps just to drop a few of these around, and then you can edit them when you select them. So it's 0 fill color. That's good. So, yeah, spline. Yeah, splining is great when it works right, but wow, does it get frustrating when it's not? Call this the River Ray. Well, because it's headed to a river. So one of the things that I try to do is I try to make sure that all my labeling reads from the same direction. So, pardon me, for example, there's a temptation here to do this. Except for when you look at how the map's going, you read from here to here, from here to here, left, right, left, right, left, right. Then all of a sudden now you're reading down to up, and it's not that it's a bad thing, but it doesn't really match and fit in. So I'm going to reverse this curve. Uh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's so much UX stuff that comes up in mapping. It's not even funny. It's actually one of the big fights I always had at my previous employment with GIS stuff was making maps legible because people just want so much information packed onto it. You'd look at it and you'd be like, I can't read this. Like it was an information overload. I think I'm gonna have to shrink these down and then just maximize their opacity. So drop that down to let's drop it down to 12. Yeah, you'd think maps were supposed to be legible, but wow, like the amount of information people will try to slam onto a map can just be absolutely alarming. Oh, that's interesting. So that spacing really changes things. That's interesting. So it's 12 and change. There we go. Oh, that fits a lot better. So here's a really good example of what happens when your layers get all sort of mucked up. You can see it sends over this mountain here, but it's behind the city tower thing, behind the trees, and behind there. So it's something to pay attention to when you're doing your, this stuff is that you're probably gonna have to move things up a few layers to make sure that it's appearing where it should, and then maybe down a layer or two. Oh, somehow that's what is going on with that tree? Oh wow, that tree was above. Didn't even notice that. Hmm. Let's see one. Angle that a little bit. There we go. Yeah, layers are always amazing to deal with. Let's see here. Um, so yeah, this is by far the roughest part of doing any sort of map work is laying all the names onto things. A few more of these. I usually just name all the major ones when I'm doing rivers and stuff like that. I've found in the past that I try to name minor, like, so we'll come down here. I'm not going to name all of these. They'll just be like, I'll describe them as left branch, right branch, um, that sort of thing. If for some reason the players really want to get into this like riverine area, and they're like super into it, at that point I might put forward the effort and like lay different names on things, coves, um, bays, glen, like all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to do it right away. It's one of those things that I'll develop as the game is progressing and as I get a feel for what the players are looking for. Sorry about that, everybody. Just swallowed down the wrong hole. Ah, it's always good on a stream. Pyramid. There we go. So one of the things you can sort of see what I'm doing here is that I'm keeping proper place names, like name of the desert, and then the name of the various locations in it. I'm keeping them horizontal and very, trying to keep them as simple as possible to read, interact with. Um, Whereas I'm giving some curvature to the basically the road network and the natural locations. And this is all on purpose because this is what I'm trying to communicate are the important parts of the map. So the stuff that's easy to read pops out first, then supplementary information is there, but it's not there to be as aggressive. And that's something to remember when you're doing your labeling is that how you label and the method that you use to label is just as important for communicating information and the priority of information as the actual like imagery on your map. So if I like used like the same um, methods for labeling absolutely everything on here, it would be very difficult for somebody looking at it to quickly discern what's important on the map from the perspective of the map maker, obviously. Whereas doing it this way communicates out that, this is important. This is the desert. These locations are important in the desert. Here's supplementary information about stuff in the desert. South Beach, what am I thinking? Correctly is opacity one, opacity one. Okay. Oh, that'll do for now. Certain name of the mountain ranges here. Well, you know what? I think land features need to be. So this is 32. Let's bump this up to 20. Too big. Yeah, 22 is too big. That. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, 5. I like that. So again, color choices helping communicate important information. So for color choices, what I've done here is I've got I'm using 2 shades of blue. So I've got interior waters and exterior waters. I've got the primary area in a bright color that pops immediately, so it grabs your attention. I've got major land features are in this yellow color and slightly curved, so you're like, okay, that's this. Then you have your locations are smaller, still, but still, like I was saying earlier, notable. Yeah, okay, good. I got that one too. Still very noticeable. And then our paths and supplementary information is coming in after that. So it's this nice layered effect moving up through everything. And I'm going to hit save because it's been a while since I've hit that save button. I'm not sure I'm going to do with Mount Narraband, but that's good. And handy note. So when you're doing this sort of overlap, like what I've got going on here, when you go to label the next section over, you don't necessarily have to use the exact same color scheme. It may be more advantageous based on the background color to use something else. Um, but generally, and you don't even have to put the labels in the same places, but they should be the same labels. That happened to a friend of mine. It was really rough. He made this beautiful map, was doing all this stuff, and then accidentally renamed a bunch of stuff on it, and we ended up playing it up as regional differences. So it worked out really well, but eh, it was not an intentional event. It works. Oh wow, something weird happened there. There we go. Well, mountain's correct. Leave that as Castell. There's too many labels there. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna hit the save button again, and we are coming up on the 1 hour mark. So let's review what happened today because it was a lot of labeling. Fit screen. Okay, so we're almost done labeling this. There's a few things left on here to do. So we've got the purple trails to do here. We've got a little tower, plain area up there. We need to name that. So there's a little bit of labeling left to do here. Do something about this little bay down there. But overall, pretty good. And as we're coming into 6 hours of working on this, I'm really happy about how it's going. It's really coming into its own. There's some good information happening here, and it's being communicated pretty clearly. And the benefit, of course, is that I could always cut this area out again without, pardon me, any of the labels on it at all, and start from scratch, or give that unlabeled map to the player characters. Well, to the player, obviously not direct to them, but give it to the players to use for their own labeling. I can also come back and knowing what I've named things here on this map, I could zoom in on something else, do some work there. Yeah, like there's so the point is that there's options. This just because we put some labels onto this section doesn't mean that there's nothing we can't do or nothing we can't develop further past this, which is something I've been trying to drive home during this entire series. So thank you very much for joining me today. It's been great, a little bit quiet, but that's fine. It's a Thursday morning. Um, People got stuff to do. I do ask, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And look me up as POC Gamer on social media. I'm on Twitter, as long as Twitter lasts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I am even on Hive Social now. So come find me. And yeah, thank you very much. And I hope you all have a great day.